start with the concerns. My concerns for Duke are the big guys. Kamen Malawash is unreal, unbelievably talented. Raw. Started playing basketball within the last 6-7 years. Malik Brown, Mason Gillis are good transfers, but they're going to need to be great. They're going to need to be physical. When other teams bring legitimate post threats, they're going to have to step their game up. And you don't want to have to use Cooper Flagg as a big man. As we talked about, he's 6'9" and he can block shots. But John Shire described him to us at ACC tip-off as a guard. He didn't say like a big guy that can shoot. Didn't say a stretch four. He said, no, he's a guard. So you don't want to make him be a big. And you have the talent, but they're going to have to step up and fit in quickly. What's your concern for Duke?
Everyone finding their role. That's the biggest thing for me is that, all right, late game situations, who's handling the ball? Like who's your go-to? What are your minutes in rotation going to look like? What's everyone's role going to be? That's going to take time for them to figure out. And they got some tough opponents, especially early on in the year.
Sure.
You got Arizona, you got Kansas, Kentucky. I mean, there's some really tough opponents on their schedule. It's to me, it's figuring out everyone's role because all these guys that were brought in have been used to being the guy who's willing to accept to be a role player.
Confidence. What are you most confident in when it comes to Duke ahead of their NCAA, just their season opener, home at 7 against Maine? It's the flip side. I'm very confident in their perimeter. If you tell me Cooper Flagg is a guard, I'll tell you that is one wild guard because of the size and ability he brings. Tyrese Proctor, Caleb Foster are the only returners, which is big for everything you said, knowing roles, knowing what's the expectation. Sion James appears to be the heartbeat. Saw a clip of John Shire at practice saying, you see what Sion James is doing? And it was all about, like hustling and talking and the stuff that coaches love. And then Con Knipple, maybe the most hype of anyone coming into or rising hype. Obviously, Flagg has the most hype, but rising hype, his ability to shoot, his ability to score. Wouldn't be surprised if he leads the team in scoring, and he'll be out there knocking them down from distance. So the perimeter is my confidence.
All right. For me, confidence is actually on their size defensively. Because I think because of their length, because their smallest guy is Caleb Foster at 6'4", 6'5", and Tyrese Proctor at 6'5", 6'6". Like, those are their smallest guys that they're going to actually have out there on the floor. I think they're going to take away so many passing lanes that it's going to prevent other teams from actually getting into the paint, because I know a lot of teams want to get paint touches, whether it's either getting the ball down on the post or even just driving and slashing to the lane. I think they're going to just clog up so many of those opportunities that teams would normally get. I think teams are going to be stuck just playing on the perimeter as a result.
Let's jump to UNC. UNC, what are you most concerned about ahead of their season opener against Elon at home at 9 o'clock? It's actually half similar to Duke. I'm concerned about their size. Jalen Washington is 6'10". Jalen Withers is 6'9". Van Allen Lubin is 6'8". But they're 235, 220, and 230. I'm 6'4". I've gotten close to some of those. Been over 220. And I'm not the strong. I'm actually pretty lanky. So the fact that they're 3, 4, 5 inches taller than I am and similar weights, you're going to need a little bit of like that. I'm going to play bigger and taller and stronger than I am from those guys. As I've said with UNC a bunch, I don't expect this to pop up often, but occasionally you're going to run into a team with a legit, back to the basket, post scoring big. And I'm worried about what UNC can do on the defensive end. But also you'll have to guard Withers and Washington and everything on the other end, which could be part of that chess match.
Likewise, it's their lack of size, and I know a big thing of part of the identity of UNC basketball for a long, long time has been offensive rebounding, and obviously no Armando Bacot being there. They're going to rely heavily on their guards, whether it's Tremble or RJ Davis or Cadeau or any of these other guys to actually get down in the paint and actually grab some rebounds as well. But to me, it's the lack of size that's most concerning.
My confidence, and keep up with me on this, is RJ Davis keeping his efficiency at higher volume. There's shots to go around. Armando Bacot's not playing. Harrison Ingram, he's gone, right? So there's shots to go around. And yes, the Ian Jacksons, the Drake Powell, some of these talented freshmen, the Cade Tysons, the transfers are going to take some of it. But I also think RJ Davis is just going to take more shots this year. And certain players you worry about with more shots, do they lose their efficiency, right? The reason why they were shooting so well is because they only took the best shots. RJ Davis takes tough shots. RJ Davis already dribble pull-ups, already catch and shoot with a guy chasing him, already hand in his face. If you can do that, you can shoot more often and still be successful. So I think RJ Davis is going to have a monster scoring year, and I think part of it is just he's going to shoot more and he won't lose his efficiency.
For me, it's their transition offense. From defense to offense, the pace that Carolina played last year, especially after the UConn game, it completely changed, to me, the trajectory of their season, the way they were going. Because their defense, when they got better and they were pushing the tempo, that's when the offense really started to click. I mean, it's like offensive rebounding, that tempo is part of the identity of UNC basketball. It's just what it is. And I think Carolina, because of their lack of size, we've heard Hubert Davis say this, they want to be the fastest team from free throw line to free throw line. And they're going to keep pushing the tempo and play even faster than they did last year, and they got the guards to do it.
At any given time, there's probably one guy they wouldn't trust catch and run. Like one guy that's going to have to outlet it before you run, if it's Withers or Washington. Everybody else, you get a rebound, you don't even have to look for the outlet. Just dribble, right? You're good enough. And if you get it to Cadeau, fantastic, because he'll set everybody else up. But if not, drive to the bucket. Let's go Wake Forest. Wake Forest, Coppin State at Wake, 8 o'clock tonight. What are you concerned about? I'm not going to get cute here. It's the same thing as last year. Consistency.
Okay.
Last year, they were maddening to me. I would watch them on one game, and they would be unbelievable. I'd walk away going, they're going to be a 4 seed in the tournament. Then I'd watch them the next game, and I'd go, I think they're going to miss the tournament by 100 games. It was that level, and sometimes it was home and away. A lot of it was home and away. But consistency, because Hildreth, Reed, Sallis, Friedrichsen, Steve Forbes, the coach, you were all a part of that inconsistency last year. You're all back as core members this year. I need to see more consistency before I fully trust you.
Winning on the road, which buys right into that because they just couldn't win on the road last year. Simple as that. Until you fix it, that's always it's going to be my concern.
100%. Let's go ahead and jump into confidence for Wake Forest. My confidence is in former Gonzaga players.
Oh, okay.
That is Hunter Sallis and Efton Reed. Hunter Sallis is an all-ACC preseason pick. I don't need to explain a ton about what's going on there. Efton Reed, I think, is my guy for my ACC tip-off magnetism person.
Okay.
After most ACC tip-offs and kickoffs, there's one player where I'm like, really? They demand that much attention? Huh. It's worked out so far. The ones that just kind of naturally walk in a room and everyone's head turns, for some reason they go into having a big season. I think Efton Reed was that guy. Part of it is he's gigantic, but part of it was the way he carried himself. Everyone just went, who is that? So I think both of those guys are in for a big season.
To me, it's their backcourt with Hunter Sallis and Cam Hildreth and the experience that those guys have had playing together. And I think it's important to know for Wake Forest, for Steve Forbes, is that you know exactly what those two guys are going to give you, and you can trust those guys. And being together in the same backcourt once again, to me, that's where my confidence lies is in their backcourt, because Hunter Sallis can go out there and get a bucket as good as anybody in the ACC.
For sure. The games where he gets it going, there might not be anyone more fun in the ACC to watch. Because when he scores 14, you just know it's going to be a 32 night. And you're just like, I just get to enjoy the second half of this performance. That's Wake Forest. Let's round it out with NC State. What are you concerned about? This is a little abstract, but come with me on this journey.
Go on.
I'm concerned they lost the players with the it. DJ Burns and DJ Horn had some juice. Now, Michael O'Connell made maybe the most it shot, but as a whole, he, Jaden Taylor, Ben Middlebrooks, who are back from that run, they had their moments, but and this is not disrespectful because you need them. Bass player, right? DJ Horn, DJ Burns were the lead vocalists, right? They were the voices. They were David Ruffin, and they're no longer there. So somebody else is going to have to step up and be a lead vocalist, and that's a tough situation. That's a tough ask. Not to say that they don't have really good bass players, but you need that voice, and I'm interested to see who tries to be that voice for them and if it works out.
To me, it's adapting their style of play without DJ Burns on the floor, because when we had Casey Morcell in here, former NC State guard in here a couple weeks ago, he said last year that they actually had to play a different style than what Kevin Keatts actually wants to do. And for the last couple of years, they've had to adjust how they want to play defense and really both ends of the floor, but especially on the defensive end, in my opinion, about how they're able to actually press. So to me, now that there's no DJ Burns there, all right, now how do you play? You're adjusting your system now to all the new guys coming in, which is just going to take some time. And also, when you have the expectations of a banner dropping tonight, or two of them, I should say,
double banner
there's
night?
a lot of expectations that come with that, and how quickly are you able to live up to that hype again?
My confidence for NC State is their confidence. My confidence is confidence.
Fair enough.
Are so confident off their run last year that they almost got beat by a Division II team in an exhibition, spun that almost as that's what we were trying to do. Because last year was so rough and it still worked out so good for them, there's almost nothing that can happen to them that won't make them go, oh, yeah, we're coming out of this. They could be 11th, 12th, 13th in the ACC. Yeah, we're going to the Final Four, just like last year. It's a wild, blind confidence to have, but it does make it so you can't count them out.
For me, it's their press, and I think they actually have the athletes and guys to do it now, because I know Kevin Keatts wants to run a deep bench. We saw last year at times running like 10, 11 guys in some games, and I think with the new guys that are added in this year with Huntley Hatfield and Dontrez Styles, they have the athletes that are going to press and pressure all over the floor. Don't be surprised if they're going to increase the pace. It's something that they couldn't do with DJ Burns on the floor. They couldn't play at a faster pace, at least consistently. Now they have the guys to do it, and I think kind of my concern was adapting to the style that Keatts really wants to play, but my confidence is they have the athletes to play the style that Keatts wants to play.
Yeah, there's some of that where it's like he can finally do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Even though last year worked out really well doing what he didn't want to do. Casey Morsell said that on the show a couple of weeks ago.